our colleagues from the media. Good thing there is no new face today. It appears as though Comrade PC, I now know everyone from among those gathered. Yeah, welcome all of you to this special briefing from the National Political Commissar of the party, Dr. Mike Bima. There are specific issues that he wants your assistance to communicate to the public, and it is my hope that those issues will be represented as they are. I often quite emphasize that. So, Comrade PC, the time is yours to engage your colleagues from the media on the special day, which is the reason why we have this special briefing. So over to you, Chef.
Okay. Thank you very much, Comrade Mugwadi, our director in the Department of Information and Publicity, and also to welcome you all, members of the press. And what I really want to go through this afternoon is really information around the National Cell Day. It has been decided that we have a National Cell Day which will be featured every year. In other words, it's now an annual event on the party calendar. And this year's National Cell Day falls on Saturday, the 11th of June, 2022. Now, what it means is that everyone who is a party member will go and attend a cell meeting starting at the same time throughout the country. So whether you are in Bulawayo, whether you are in Gokwe, whether you are in Mutare or in Beitbridge, you go to your cell and attend a cell meeting which will start at 10 a.m. So everyone, including the Presidium, will be going to their respective cells. Even the President, His Excellency, Comrade Idi Mnangagwa, and his family will go to their cell in Kwekwe. The cell chairman of that particular cell will be chairing the deliberations on that day. So it doesn't matter whether you are a Politburo member, a Central Committee member, a chairman of the province, or a chairman of DCCs. Once you go to that cell, you attend a meeting as a member of the cell, which will be chaired by the cell chairman. The cell is the unit, the most active unit of the party, because everyone belongs to a cell. And the song that we normally play, Msangano Kumasero, it means that's where the party starts. That's the organ where information, vital information, is shared. That's where the instructions coming from above are shared. So that's where the organization begins. If you are planning for campaigning, you are planning for mobilization, it has to start from a cell. And therefore, the importance and the value of the cell will be underlined with this event taking place this Saturday, the 11th of June, 2022. There is an agenda for this coming event, and as a result of the value that we attach to this event, we are saying to all provinces, they should put aside all activities. They must postpone all meetings so that everyone has an opportunity to go and attend their cell meetings. The agenda will involve a number of items. The first one will be the verification and the inspection of the cell. A cell comprises 50 members. Sometimes there could be a cell with 48. You can also find a cell with probably 51. But in most cases, we have cells of 50 people in a cell. And therefore, one of the items on the agenda is the verification or inspection of the cell. To say, how many are we? We are supposed to be 50. Are we all here? And account for those who are not there. Account on those who have probably passed on. And also account for those who probably have been added on to the cell. So it's a verification exercise done by the members themselves. I know in the past we used to have verification exercises where people from outside come and verify those cells. This exercise will follow. But this particular one is a self-verification where the members themselves will be there to verify their cell structure. They will also be looking at issues of registration. Are we all registered as voters? Who are not registered as voters, and why? Establish the reasons why some members of the cell are not registered as voters. And when you look at those reasons, it is at that cell that decisions are made to say, how do we overcome those challenges that you are facing? Is it an issue of not having ID particulars or documents? How can that be resolved? So these are issues that will be discussed at that cell, issues to do with registration. Information about polling stations. Where do we vote? What are the boundaries of our polling stations? Do we all know where our polling station is? Now, that is the information again that is going to be discussed. Other issues that are going to be discussed at that meeting is issues to do with party cards. Who has a card, who doesn't have? And the moment you talk about cards, you also talk about party subscriptions. Who have paid, who hasn't? And these are issues that will be discussed on that very day. There were also issues to do with how do we grow sales. We have a cell of 50 members, but how do we get more? Can we not develop ourselves into 2 more cells, into 3 more cells, which means you bring new members to join the party. And this could likely be members who are not members of the party presently. We now have strategies. How do we bring them on board? So even at a cell level, you discuss strategies of mobilization. Now, we'd like to believe that at the end of the discussions at this cell meeting, the most senior member at that cell, who doesn't necessarily have to be the chairperson. As I said, you could be a Politburo member, but when you go down to your cell, you are not the chairperson. But we would like, at each cell, the most senior person of the party to give closing remarks, observations on the future, on where the party is going, and a number of issues to share with the generality of the membership of that cell. So we expect that when His Excellency the President and his family when they go to Kwekwe and attend their cell, that at the end of the deliberations, the cell chairman will probably ask the president to do closing remarks and probably tell them about some of the information that probably people might be interested to hear about. So that will be the order of the day in all the meetings and throughout the country. At the moment, we are in the process of discussions with our Department of Science and Technology, ICT, so that information discussed, information shared at every cell is relayed to a center in the admin district. In other words, there will be a focal point at a DCC level where that information will be collated. And once that information is collated, it will be again relayed to the various provinces, as well as to the party headquarters in Harare. And that information will constitute the baseline in terms of our data, our membership data. And future exercises will be based on the baseline in terms of other improvements and in terms of communication. We should be able, with the help of technology, to at a press of a button, to be able to know who is in a cell in a particular party district, and to know whether that person is registered or not as a voter, to be able to know whether that person is fully paid up or not. And also, there's a lot of information that we normally require when we call for elections, when we invite CVs to be submitted, and we'll be able to check that information that will be available at Party HQ. So, lastly, the point is really to appeal to provincial leadership in all our 10 provinces to attach a lot of importance to this very day, and that they disseminate the same to the admin districts, to party districts, to branches, and to the various cells for everybody to know the time and the place that they will be meeting. And that, as I said earlier on, that they suspend all meetings or postpone the various meetings that were scheduled for this weekend, and that we all gather to our various cells. I'm sure you'll be in Buhera, and we all will be going to where we belong and be counted. So I would like to appeal to all the provinces, as I said earlier on, to ensure that this day is a success and that it lays the foundation for our capturing of our membership data, and it will be the basis of future actions as well as decisions. I thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, National PC. You know, I can't wait to go to Buhera and, as you say, to go and be chaired and also have a feel of what it takes after so long time.
Sure.
To have interactions with my roots and to also see progress on mobilization, on registration to vote. I must say I was getting schooled as you were briefing us. I'm sure I'm fully informed to go and attend for the purposes clearly outlined. I'm sure Comrade spokesperson, Comrade National PC rather, sorry for the mix. That day will also see you have been running a program as the commissariat, Operation Zokai Kumba, come back home. It has seen a lot of people defecting and abandoning puppet movements in their various formations coming to join the party. You have received them as the interlocutor from the party. And there are so many that have also inundated to want to come on that day through their respective cells to join the party and be enrolled into that essential organ of the party, the cell. Your message to them, Comrade Pearson, before I open the floor for colleagues from the media.
Yeah, the party is open arms. The party is ready to receive those who used to be members and wanted to venture elsewhere, but we have decided that, look, north, south, east, west, home is best. And they want to come back home, they are most welcome. And we have put that message around that we are ready as a party to embrace those who want to join us and who want to join us because they've realized that this is the party worth following. This is the party to belong to and a party to contribute to. It's not just a question of the party doing things for us. It's us making contributions to the party. And I'm sure that we will be receiving these members in all our provinces quite gladly. So as a party, we are always open to receive new members.
Thank you very much for that, Comrade PCA. Just to make a very special announcement, may we appeal to your assistants, colleagues from the media, to assist members of the public. The party is not running any competition for tractors or agricultural inputs as it were. I'm sure you're aware about that issue, Comrade PC. You have been called as well. There are people calling us. They've been approached by corny people, corny elements, seeking to tarnish the image of the party, fleecing unsuspecting members of the public, lying that Zanu-PF iri kupa vanhu matractors, mawina matractors, kune competition. We don't run any grand challenge here. May members of the public be advised, and may comrades from the media please assist us to inform our people. In the process, you are also conscientizing your brothers and sisters and grandmothers who could be next on line to be fleeced. So, Tandy, please help us with this information. Thank you very much, PC. I just thought it was important to put it across.
Thank you.
It's now that opportunity where we seek questions and clarifications on the special message delivered by the PC. Those who want to come to Kwekwe to see the president being chaired, I'm sure we'll have deliberations with the PC on how best you can be accredited to do so. But tentatively, as usual, be prepared to come. I also plead with you, PC, where possible, that we can carry some of our colleagues from the media who may not have means to go there.
Yeah, look, I don't see any problem with that.
Okay.
I don't see any problem with that.
Thank you. The honors is yours. I'll come. Yes, Bruce.
Sorry? Right. And andidi kukupa figure hiyo because I don't think it is correct. Why I say that kuti it's also true kuti pane vanhu vainyepera maselo avo because maselo ainoitwa vanhu vakuda kuenda kuma-elections, and therefore we also know that we have certain fake cells out there, and we have to start somewhere, and hence starting with the cell day kuti ndo pataakutangira ipapo. Achaoneka angari fake tichaona because all that information will be relayed, because what we want is atidi mafake. We want to know kana tiri 20 toza kuti tiri 20, but kwete kuti tiri 200 imi muri only 100. But then any party must know its membership. We must be able to account our membership. Decisions dzamunoita dzinobheswa nema-numbers enyu, and those numbers have to be authentic, have to be credible. And that's why I said this, we are going through this exercise to establish a baseline. That will be the starting point. And after the 11th, you come and ask me and I'll tell you how many cells we have. Okay.
Thank you very much for that comment. Then PC is saying we are scientific, so, and systematic with our statistics ahead of 2023. Blessed, it's good to see you here after a long time. The last time you were elsewhere. I'm glad to see you around. Welcome. And the National PCA, we also have a special visitor for you here. There are people that thought it's a ghost account. It doesn't exist. There comes Jones Msara. There is a person. Somebody asked whether really that person existed. That's Jones Msara from Canada. Jones, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Any other question? Yes, my brother. Okay, yeah, I'll come to you. You can just loosen your mask so that you could be audible.
As I said earlier on, the cell, that's where every organization starts. So all your mobilization, all your campaigning He has to start from the cell. And that is the reason why. Because we are now moving into the campaigning a period. But how do you campaign when you don't know yourselves? How do you campaign when you know your numbers? Remember, we have been saying we are looking for 5 million plus voters, isn't it? And that's how you build. When we establish these cells will also grow. And if these cells multiply and multiply, obviously, the 5 million plus target is achievable. But you need to account for yourself. You can't just operate without knowing how many you are. And you can't operate without knowing who is your members. We have to know your members. You have to identify your members. Then you can plan together. You can strategize together. There are strategies that must operate at cell level, at branch level, at district level, even at other levels as you go up. And recall, as I said earlier on, each cell has got a political commissar. So I have my colleagues who are in commissariat, even at a cell level. And they've got a work to do. And what is that work? To mobilize. To mobilize members, to mobilize other people who are not members of the cell to come and join the cell. And also to strengthen those who are already in that cell. And it is those members of the cell who are now more enlightened, who have information, who know what the government has done, what programs the government has put into place, and they communicate among the members of that cell. It's easy to address 50 people than to address 50,000 people. So the commissar in that cell and the chairperson of that cell will, as we move along, get information, messages, manifesto, etc. And you know what? It is people in a given area who know how best to reach out to their fellows around their area. Therefore, even strategies, they don't have to come from head office. They don't have to come from Politburo. Strategies have to emanate at cell level. They know their people. They know their strengths and weaknesses. They know how to relate to their colleagues around. So this is the basic unit. So you are very right that once we establish ourselves, work begins. We are all now geared for 2023. And this is the starting point. Our campaign starts here. And on the 11th of June, it's all systems go. Thank you.
And the chef Kulewasina, Marcel, you can't just operate as a structure unto yourself and expect to win elections. You know who works and operates on himself. They don't have a baseline. They have dissolved everything. They exist at the top. You know where they are.
Yeah, no, sir.
Yes, welcome, my brother. Your name and the stable.
This is very important. That's a very good question. What we are doing on the 11th is the beginning of an exercise, not the end of an exercise. It is just the beginning. That information that we gather will in themselves tell us what is to be done next. Just take an example. You find that from your number of 50, you find that half are not registered. And then 10 don't even have IDs. Work starts, isn't it? You want to get these guys who don't have IDs to get the IDs. Those guys who are not registered to be registered. So work starts. So the National Cell Day is just the beginning of a process. But the process will go on until we go and vote. I even told you that at the end of the meeting on the 11th, cells will set their own targets and say, look, we want to double this number. And that's a target. So at some point in time, you still have to go back and say, have you doubled up? Do you now have 2 cells as per your target or 3 cells as per your target? So the 11th is just the beginning of a long process. But it has to start at some point, and it has to start on the 11th.
Yes, there was a hand from this side. Blessed.
Yeah, but this whole issue is more to do with the president and his prerogative to appoint and dismiss ministers, which has nothing to do with the party. As a party, our role is really to ensure that we win elections and we support candidates who contest under the banner of Zanu PF. Once they win as members of parliament, it's entirely now the prerogative of the president to appoint them as ministers or deputy ministers, and for him to fire them at will, because that's his prerogative. So that's basically our position.
Yes, you have been answered, Blessed.
What did you expect the party to do to expel them?
The question is to you, Blessed.
You see, the party, normally when you find the party coming up with sanctions against offenders, it's when offenses that appear in the various codes, like the party constitution, necessary guidelines, resolutions, etc. And when they are alleged offenses, they come through the process through a disciplinary hearing and ultimately to the National Disciplinary Committee, which then deliberates on the issue and recommends to the Politburo for action to be done. And the party can only make an announcement once that process has gone through, and nothing has been done up to now, because it's something, as you said, that has just happened recently, and nothing has gone through the party as it were. If it comes through the party, as I have described, then the National Disciplinary Committee will sit and recommend to the Politburo, and the Politburo will take a decision and an announcement will be made. Thank you.
ndo panoshanda ma-structures aya vari kutaura kuti weda utangiri kuno unobva uko, saka the process will start from where he comes from. If there is any process that shall start, we don't prescribe processes for them. Yes, come again.
You want me to be Charumbira's spokesperson? I wouldn't really comment. I didn't hear him. He didn't confer with me. That's his opinion. But look, I think in any organization, particularly organizations where power is a factor, you do have people who can form alliances, people, even by the mere going to a vote, you find that as a party, we have internal elections. People vote for a chairman. There will be others who will vote for John, others voting for Peter. But would you call that factions? Obviously, they have their preferences. They think Peter will do the job well. The other group will think John will do the job well. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's all the judgments that we make every day. But by making such judgments, the fact that this judgment, our preference is different from yours, doesn't make it a faction. To me, a faction is where probably there's really an organization grouping, really with a clear objective of what they want to achieve ultimately. And in this case, in my view, there are people who have preferences for one candidate to the other. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a faction.
Yeah, thank you very much for that clarification, Comrade NPC. I think you have answered a lot of questions, including quite very much unbridled lies that have been making headlines in your stable, my brother, from the Newsday, fronted by a colleague of yourselves by the name Miriam Mangwanya, or Mangwaya as it were, and I'm sure we have tried to restrain her from misrepresenting facts about the party. It is one thing to welcome you here and share this platform with leadership as we often do. It is another thing to leave here and start quoting your left fingers as unconfirmed sources in ZANU-PF or anonymous sources in ZANU-PF or my secret sources in ZANU-PF or sources that decline to be named in ZANU-PF. We know that tendency is happening, where people quote non-existent sources in order to satisfy or justify the lies they want to peddle for the party. Those headlines have been, in short, I must say, Comrade PC, they stink. They seek to create a state of disaffection between leadership, except that let it be known for the record. No one among members of the media can draw a line between the president and his appointees, as it were. Let that sink. And no amount of headlines can create that which is not there. I just thought the PC had done enough to clarify it. I just wanted to add details onto it. We have seen those stories making headlines. Please, don't quote non-existent people to satisfy or justify negative headlines about the party. Thank you. Back to you, my brother. Me, I'll go. I've already been directed to go. I'll go. Please don't give an excuse on my behalf. I will go.
And I'm there, I'm going.
Yes.
And the president is going. Oh, by 4 days, where do you start counting? No. Today is for you. Today is for you. They were told about it last week. They know about it. They know about it.
And I'm quite sure you are eager to go to your cell. Please, try to go. Yes, my brother, blessing. Do you mean to tell me, blessed, that the editor writes that what? No, I think what you need to know, blessed, at least I would not have wanted this to degenerate into an exchange between me and you. But what I just wanted to say is that us expressing our dissatisfaction about false headlines involving us doesn't endanger the lives of those that have made them. As well, when those bad headlines and negative headlines are also made about us, it doesn't endanger us because we are clear about our positions. So we might not need to create stories that are not there. No one's life has been endangered. We are just cautioning it is wrong to lie in our name. Otherwise, thank you very much for quite a fruitful engagement with the PC. Again, don't go and consult your left fingers. If you do so, we'll call you out next time. No, we're here together. Everyone was here. You chose to misrepresent us. We do that for the security of our information. We give it to you because we feel we are partners in this journey together. But we would not want to be abused after giving to you exactly the accurate state of affairs. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you.